All right, it is time for some film goals-ish discussion-y goodness, hopefully. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. This video, I will admit, I'm doing completely off the cuff. I don't know if I'll actually end up posting it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, but I did wanted to share something that is on my mind, and I'm trying to figure out how to resolve it, and would love to share the thoughts I have on it so far, and also hear your thoughts on it as well. So it is still, to me at least, feels very much the beginning of the year. I haven't made any film goals yet. Other than the fact that I do want to get this year, I would like to get my letterbox up to date with all of the films that I've ever seen, at least as far as I know. I have started working on doing data entry for 2007. I've gotten about halfway through that year. I do have a TV show that I've picked to watch while I'm doing that, and it's a rewatch, and I have 3 seasons, so I like, and there are 13 episodes, so I have almost 40 episodes of TV that I can watch while I'm doing the data entry, so I'm not going to run out, I imagine. And actually, that would be funny to see which happens first. Do I finish the show? Do I get caught up on the show, or do I finish the data entry? I have a weird sporadic amount of data entry needing to be entered. I think it's 2007, 2008, 2009, and then it's everything that I have that doesn't have a date, but I know I have on my spreadsheet that I've seen it, but I just don't know when. It's a huge number of films. Like, I think it's, and 2007 is one of the years I started seriously going to film festivals, and I'm definitely going to run into the problem, I imagine, where I'm going to find films that I won't be able to find on Letterboxd, because I saw a lot of short film and a lot of international film and a lot of international short film, and I don't know how much international short film from 2007 is going to be on Letterboxd. Maybe it's all there, and I don't know if you can add or request a film to be added. So anyway, that's a conversation for another day, but I do the I guess the 2 very light film goals that I'm pretty confident for this year would be to get all of the data entry done, and we're talking like thousands of films, like thousands. So it's a lot, but I am just doing, like, I'm not doing a lot and just like putting the film and the date and whether I liked it. I'm not even usually starring anything, and I'm adding it to a few lists, so it takes a while. Anyway, so do the data entry of all the films I've seen from my spreadsheet to Letterboxd, and then I think my general number of films, new to me films to see by the end of the year, generally tends to be about 100. So last year I fell short. I got 88 new watches in. It was 89, but there was a film that I thought was new watch, and it wasn't. I had seen it like 8 years ago because it was on Letterboxd and it was on my spreadsheet, and I'm like, I don't remember watching it. I am genuinely embarrassed on that one. But anyway, so 88 new to me films last year, and I do strive for about 100. And I do try and watch like 3 a week on the weeks that I can watch film, and then I have some weeks where I don't see anything, so it sort of evens out in the end. So those are sort of my 2 light goals, is to get Letterboxd data entry done, and then also to see 100 new to me films or first time watch films. I haven't done most anticipated lists this year. I didn't do one last year. Last year I did work with sort of like watching from 3 categories of films like per season. That really worked out really well in the first quarter last year, and then it failed miserably in the other 2, in my opinion. So I'm not saying it's not a good way to do stuff. I'm just saying because I had mixed results on success, I'm a little resistant to try it again, at least right away. So the challenge I am having with stuff, and I have been watching like 2 to 3 films a week, so far I've actually been doing quite well, but I think the biggest challenge I had last year, and the challenge I feel like I get a lot of with film, is deciding what to watch. There's so many options with so many services, which is honestly fantastic, and I wouldn't want to not do that, although that could be an interesting challenge. I could just pick one service a month or something. I'm not going to do that, but it's an option. But I'm having trouble deciding. So part of that is sort of like decision fatigue, but I feel like so many times, especially last year, I spent so much time trying to decide what to watch that I missed out on seeing an additional film. So I try and watch 3 and I only got into 2 because it took so long to figure out what to watch. So I'm trying to think of, and this is going to be like a live brainstorming session. So I'm trying to think of different ways to combat that decision fatigue. So the first one that came to mind, and my sister Jamie suggested this as well, so thanks, Jamie. The first one that came to mind was simply putting titles of films in jars. And that I've done before, and I have a fair amount of videos and older vlogs, I don't know, I might have privatized some of them, where I had these huge coffee cans, huge coffee cans, and I put them in jars, and what I did is I put them in jars by how long the film was. So 90 minutes and under, up to 1 hour and 45 minutes, up to 2 hours, and then sort of 2 hours plus. In the past couple of years, I have really focused on watching shorter film so that I can see more film. I don't know if that's the best way to go. And last year, I also did have a fair amount of challenges where I got really specific on what time of day I wanted to watch stuff because I didn't want there to be any sort of light in the room. And I also have gotten a little persnickety on that I don't watch horror films late anymore. I can watch them in the afternoon, that's no problem, but I don't watch them at night anymore. They're good to watch in the winter because I can watch it in the afternoon and it's dark out, but then I can watch something off to sort of brush away the sort of scary stuff. And I only have certain horror films that certain subgenres of horror that I'm interested in. There's certain ones that I'm no, I just don't have any interest in anymore. So the thing is, I have a fair amount, I can hear this already, I have a fair amount of the parameters of yeses and nos. So it's not about what I want to watch, but it's just about deciding what to watch. And I don't watch a lot of trailers because I find the trailers give way too much away, and that's from many years of watching lots of trailers. And I did have some success last year with watching new stuff, anything that was just new that week that came out on streaming or I just noticed it for the first time. I had a lot of success and enjoyment of doing that, but that's still the fair amount of deciding. So I'm not sure what to do. I like the jars idea, but I will admit that having stuff in jars and picking it from the jar is more exciting to do if I'm doing a video. If I'm just by myself going, hey, what's next? It's not as fun. And I don't know how, and I love doing vlogs, but they're a fair amount of work. So I don't know if picking from jars is a good way to go when I'm not doing a video. Last week I did do a randomizer. I asked, I just put a generator, a random number generator into Google. And then I looked on each of the streaming services and I counted the number. No, I didn't use that. It was last Saturday was the 18th. And so I looked at each of the streaming services and I just counted 18. And so I had a list of this many films. And so I don't remember if I ended up watching any of them, to be honest, which is not great. Did I? I can't even remember what I watched last week. I don't know. But anyway, that's also another thing. Random number generator and then watch it. The challenge is I'm in this weird space of I want some choice, but I don't know what buckets of choice would be good. Running time is one I've done before. I could also do by service. I could also do by genre. I could pick a genre this month or this season I'm going to watch. Last year I did monster movies or whatever. Maybe I'll do award winners. Oh, the Tourist Stun Awards. I always like working on the Tourist Stun Awards. I can do that. I could put all the Tourist Stun Awards in a jar or something like that. I don't know. So jars are one option. Random number generator is a variation on the jars. But I think part of it is trying to figure out what to choose from. Do I want to make a big long list of all of the movies that I want to see and then work from that? I don't know. Do I have, I am very generous on what I put on the list of things that I want to see. So much so that I feel like it is, sorry, alarm going off. I feel like I'm so generous with that I'll just watch anything. And I'm is that okay? Should I really just watch anything? And I like to match things to my mood and sometimes at time of day. I find for me, dramas are better earlier in the day. And I like more sort of action adventure later in the day and that kind of stuff. I also don't know how I want to work on series, if at all. There is one series that I have watched 5 out of the sort of 11 films so far, but I've failed so many times on watching that series that I don't even want to say it out loud. So there's that. And then if I watch that, then I have two other options. Are there going to be something that I want to pair well with that? Pair against that, even things out? I don't know. So I guess I'm kind of like, maybe this is not a very helpful or useful video in any way, shape, or form, because I just don't know what to do. I like the ideas of jars. Another option is just like a list on Excel and use a random number generator. But I do feel like there is some value in having it be from things I genuinely want to watch, or from films where there is something important to me about them, as opposed to like, I'll just watch anything. Like, there's definitely actors that I'll watch anything that they're in. There are genres or subgenres. Like, I want to watch more art house stuff. I want to watch more weird, experimental, expressive, dynamic, confusing. I really do want to watch that, but I don't even have a list that I've made to work with for that. And it's something that I feel generally people either love it or hate it. There's sort of no in between. But for me, I love it. Like atmospheric stuff and like, yeah, just like weird. And I don't love all of it though. I watched one a couple of years ago that I'm like, oh wow, yeah, no. And maybe short film is good. Oh, there's so many short films out there. Canopy has some. There's some on other streaming services. There's so many you can watch on YouTube or on individual websites like the NFB, the National Film Board of Canada. Like, I feel like I don't have any parameters yet. I don't have any like big things that I'm working on. Doesn't need to be big things. So I guess I'm trying to wonder, and I'm asking, how do you decide what to watch? How do you get over decision fatigue? For me, I love that there's so many options. I love it, but I find myself time and time again feeling like not sure what to pick. And then there's that not always awkward, but sometimes there's that awkward sort of like 5 to 15 minutes where you're trying to decide, do I stick with this? Do I turn this off? Because for me, if I turn it off, that means I don't consider it seen. But now I might have lost out on being able to finish something. And I would rather usually finish something, unless it's like super violent or aggressive in disturbing ways, then it's a no. I'm pretty good at not watching stuff like that anymore. I'm not interested in that. I've seen a lot of that over the years. So I don't know. So jars, genres, services, I feel like the random picking is a good way, or make one list and be like, okay, this season I want to finish this list. And I definitely have so many notebooks of lists of titles. And sometimes I have a physical notebook and like highlighting it when I'm done. There's a lot of, it gives me a lot more than just like moving it along on a spreadsheet or notating it on Letterboxd. Also, my Letterboxd watch list is like completely random. Like, it's just like, it's a bunch of stuff from super recent, a bunch of stuff that's really old. Some stuff that hasn't even been released. I don't even know. I love that they have that function, but I'm not, it's just like with Goodreads, my to be read, I don't really actually hold that as a commitment. It's just a space to hold stuff that like, yeah, that looks interesting. Maybe I'll get to it. And then I'm like, am I too casual on like choosing things that I'll just watch anything? I don't know. So anyway, this is extremely rambly, and I don't even know if I'll end up posting it. But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on how you make decisions on what you watch, and if you have decision fatigue, any strategies that you've found helped. For me, random number generator, pulling from a list, you can do an A to Z. That's kind of fun, but I feel like I don't super value that I've seen a film from every letter of the alphabet. I think that's one of the things that's like with reading challenges, when it's like read a book with a red cover, and I'm like, yeah, that's a great way if you're like looking at your shelves to get to something, but I'm like, later and I'm going to be, yay, I read something with a red cover. I'm genuinely not trying to be, I'm not saying that isn't a good challenge. Sometimes we just need something to work off of, and it can be fun to go through and be like, ooh, what's red? And ooh, I finally got to this. But like later, I kind of feel like is that something that I'm working toward in a grander scale? So I guess maybe that's a note for me, that I want to be working towards something on a grander scale. So whether that's genres or like finishing filmographies of particular actors that I love or directors or something like that. So maybe that larger piece of working towards a larger goal, that's meaningful to me. So that's helpful for me to know. I didn't actually know that until right now. Like I think I kind of knew that, but I also love the randomness. I really do love that. Just randomly, like as I said, the other day it was the 18th. So it's just like, okay, what's film number 18 on this service? What's film number 18 on this service? I can't remember if I ended up watching any of them, but it gave me a starting point, and it was less time than some other times I've had to choosing a film. So let me know your thoughts. How do you combat decision fatigue? Do you even have decision fatigue? I used to always watch stuff from the library a long time ago. I would borrow stuff from the library, and it had a deadline and it had to go back. So that's what I ended up watching a lot of the time, or I had to review things on deadline. I don't really want to work with deadlines. It gets me a little stressed, but I will admit it is a very successful way of and even if it's like you're watching it with someone else, like you decide that you're going to talk about something, so you watch it the week before, that can work too. Let me know your thoughts. What has been helpful to combat decision fatigue, and also how do you decide what films you watch? Because I would really love to hear it, because I think, like many things, I think a lot about it, and I'm not sure where to go this year, and I would like to be intentional, but also have that sense of surprise, which I think it keeps on going back to the jars and the random number generator. But I think I might have to work from lists and titles that I really want to watch, like, as opposed to like anything. I don't know. We'll see. So let me know your thoughts. I know that was really rambly, and hopefully I will be back with some firm decisions or some directions to go in. But I still feel like at this time of year, I'm just still trying to like look through the options and see what looks interesting and see what might work. And so that's where I'm at. So let me know how you combat decision fatigue, how you decide what films to watch, and if you watched anything interesting this year, or do you have any suggestions for art house film? Because I love them. All right, thank you so much for watching. I will be back with another video soon.